guys, it's me Simo Urahara, and in this video we will talk about one of the greatest captains in Bleach. Yes, he is the GOAT, IBA Tsuzaimon. The GOAT because we didn't see a single fight of him, we have never seen his Chikai's name nor his abilities, we didn't see any important role for him in the story. And imagine with me that we know the name of Hanataro's Zanpakuto and how it works, and we don't know anything about the Zanpakuto of IBA at all. And with all these obstacles, yet he became the captain of the 7th squad. And this for me was one of the most surprising and shocking things that chapter 685 carried. And that chapter has a timescape of 10 years. And IBA, according to the novel We Do Not Always Love You, became a captain after the Great War against the Quincy. And the events of that novel take place 3 years after that war, meaning that IBA became a captain during those first 3 years after the end of the war. Why Rukia became a captain after 10 years? Rukia, who has the best development of all the new captains, we watched her entire path when she was in the academy, when she was just an ordinary officer, and she remained in those ranks and fought several important fights, and after the end of the Arankara arc she was promoted to the rank of vice captain, and in the final arc she launched her Bankai for the first time. The Bankai, which is one of the most important conditions to be a captain. I mean, we've seen enough information about Rukia that makes a lot of us accept Rukia as a captain, and we might say the same with Lisa. Lisa was a vice captain 100 years ago and has holo powers and has participated in several fights, and probably at some point she managed to get a Bankai. As for Isani, who is the captain of the 4th squad, this squad specializes in treatment, and Isani accompanied Urahara for a long period of time, and she was one of the few who knew the truth of Urahara being the first Kinpachi, meaning that she will have learned the necessary skills to lead the 4th squad when it comes to treatment. As for IBA, Kobo ignored him, although IBA's background is full of events that Kobo could have used to develop his character, and gave him some events so that the transition from vice captain to captain would be in a smooth manner and not as we have seen. So let's see first who is IBA Tsuzaimon. Some may not know this information, but IBA is one of the few characters in the story who has one of his parents a Shinigami. This woman is IBA Chikani and was the vice captain of Rose 100 years ago, and she is the mother of Tsuzaimon. And as you can see from her features, she seems to have been a talkative old woman. Just notice the looks of her captain Rose, and maybe her character has an effect on her son Tsuzaimon, because apparently she was insisting on him as a child that he had to be a vice captain like her, and perhaps she wanted him to take her position after her. What is important is that the idea of Tsuzaimon becoming a Shinigami and be a vice captain was an idea that he had resisted since childhood. When he grew up, he joined the Goche, and the first squad he joined was the 11th division. That's why even his shape, which resembled the members of the Yakuza, didn't come out of nowhere, but rather fit the identity of the 11th squad. And frankly, I don't know in what period IBA joined the 11th division. Was it during the period of the 10th Kenpachi or the period of Zaraki Kenpachi? And Madarame Ikako considered IBA as his senpai. But what I'm sure about is that when Ikako and Yumichika joined the 11th squad, IBA was already there and was occupying the 4th seat. And apparently IBA's dream of being vice captain was difficult to achieve in that squad. That's why when he had seen an opportunity in the 7th division that would enable him to quickly move to that position of vice captain, he moved there. And this confirms the fact that this was never his dream. He only wanted to fulfill his mother's will or something like that, and in any possible way. And it's funny to know that Kobo made all these facts about IBA Tsuzaimon since the beginning of the story, and yet he didn't use them to develop his character. In chapter 139, when Zaraki was going to fight Tosen and Sajin, Ikako reminded IBA how he was with them and then moved to a weak squad just to get the position of vice captain. And in chapter 160, when Ikako and IBA sat together drinking, Ikako mentioned the case of IBA's mother and how he did what he did for her. And frankly, that scene between Ikako and IBA was a among the beautiful scenes in the Soul Society arc. Serity back then was in a hot plate. Byakuya was fighting Ichigo, Kyorako and Ukitake against Yamamoto, Zaraki against Tosin and Sajin. Meanwhile, Ikkaku and Iba had been drinking and talking about their past days. And the other strange thing to mention about Iba is that Kobo described him as a Shinigami who mastered all 4 arts of the Shinigami. He mastered the art of the sword, the Zanpakuto, Hoho, which means he has a fast Shimpo, and he mastered the Kido and even the Hakuda. However, we did not see any fights of him, any interventions that show some of these aspects that were described about him. And as it appeared to you through my narration of this information about Iba, he's not a superficial character, but rather he has a rich past. Yet Kobo ignored him completely, which in my opinion is bad as long as you will make him captain later. And the same thing happened with Sasakibe. Sasakibe was neglected throughout the story. He was beaten by Ichigo in a very humiliating way. And it turned out later that he had one of the oldest and maybe the strongest Bankai in the story. Therefore, it is very likely that the same scenario that occurred with Sasakibe, we will probably see it with Iba. Because it is certain that Iba did not become a captain unless he owned the Bankai. As I said, this is the most important role for becoming a captain. Tosin mentioned that one of the 3 ways to become a captain is to have a Bankai. Renji offered Ikkaku to be a captain because he owns a Bankai. And the most important thing that confirms this is Yorichi's words to Ichigo when she said that there is no captain in the history of the Soul Society who became a captain without Bankai. The only case is Zaraki Kinpachi. Thus, the question remains, at what stage did Iba get Bankai? There is no doubt that after Sajin fought Bambita and Sajin was defeated and he turned into animal, Iba was sure that Komamura would never again occupy the position of a captain, and therefore Iba would be the most prominent candidate for that position. What I personally think is that Iba had reached a stage close to obtaining Bankai, meaning he had Shikai and mastered it perfectly. Is it good Shikai or not? It doesn't matter, but what matters is that he was proficient in the use of Shikai, and after the war he was able to use Bankai and thus took the position of captain. And as I said, and I repeat, what is mentioned in the novel is that he became captain after the end of the war, and the time wasn't set exactly. So the biggest problem about Iba Chitsuzaemon is that we don't even know the name of his Shikai or his abilities, so we can build on it what his Bankai might be. Because Iba has never had a fight, the only scene we have seen is his intervention against Ion, and you know what happened after that. What is known about him is that for the past 10 years, Iba has been spending a lot of time training day and night in order to improve his level. In the first 3 years, Yumura was his vice captain, and Yumura is known to have been in the 4th division, and he is distinguished for his healing skills. And that's why he was responsible for treating the wounds of Iba as a result of the training he was going through. But it seems that at some point Yumura went and Atoue became Iba's new vice captain, and I previously made a video about him, and I have put forward a theory in which I explained what is the relationship that Iba and Atoue can have, and you can watch it later. In the end, guys, we can know Iba's true level as a captain or his Bankai only through new chapters related to Hell Arc. Other than that, the way Iba became the captain of the 7th division is illogical for me. I mean, he became a captain right after the Great War against the Quincy, while Rukia, who defeated one of the strongest generator, Ace Knot, by her Bankai, and she became a captain only 10 years after that. So guys, give me your opinion about Iba Chitsuzaemon, and see you guys in my next video.